Okay, so this is just a welcome slide, okay, to your new degree, right? We're being optimistic here that you're all going to join us. Uh, and I'm just going to, I have 5 parts to my talk, okay, 5 reasons why you should study the humanities. Okay, certainly some of you and some of your parents will, of course, be concerned. Okay, what does it mean? What are your future job prospects? And we have a lot to say about that. And then I can introduce you to the School of Humanities itself, to our various degree programs, what that degree looks like, a little bit about each of the years 1 through 4, and then what your how we can assist you moving from classroom to your career. Okay, so I mean, I think number one is that humanities majors outperform their peers on several measures and enjoy their studies. Okay, I think enjoy your studies is a very important part of this. If you go to university and you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to perform very well in your subjects. And so performing well in your subjects has a lot to do with how you perform later on the job market. Uh, but it is true that our students achieve substantially greater gains than business and technology and engineering and math majors in communication, writing ability, complex reasoning, and critical thinking. And these are skills that employers across the employment spectrum have a great need for, okay, and that they value very well. I mean, one way that I usually explain this is that, let's say, a major banking organization such as OCBC is maybe they're hiring 20 students out of university in any given year. Sure, they might want 15 of those students to be from finance, but another 5 of those students might be from anywhere, okay, because they do have great needs for communication skills. And our students do end up in jobs across the spectrum because of that. Um, Employers, executives, and hiring managers are looking for graduates with the skills humanities foster. Humanities graduates are well positioned to meet employers' needs and succeed in a variety of occupations. And I think that, again, is something that I was just speaking to, okay, which is that across the job spectrum, okay, a lot of our students move into some type of human resources type role, and human resources type roles exist across all industries. And it's just also a truism that humanities majors are leaders in a range of fields because of the background, because of the strong background that we give them in communication skills and critical thinking skills. And so you can see from the list of names that we have here for you, the people who have gotten humanities degrees, from Steve Jobs to Christopher Nolan. I mean, if you know anything about Christopher Nolan's films, they usually have a deep kind of philosophical edge to them. And I don't think he would be nearly as successful as he is as a filmmaker without his philosophy background. Um, and so I hope that this is just a brief kind of introduction. Here we have a list of more local successes of people who have studied in the humanities. And of course, the benefits of the humanities major extend beyond the marketplace. Uh, we encourage engaged citizens, critical thinking students who engage cultural and social issues. And students who are concerned with cultural and social issues, I think, are naturally drawn to the humanities and then perform well in those areas because of their work in the humanities. And of course, what we do specific things to equip our students for the workforce, right? We demand, we provide a demand for humanities skills and the tasks that are automated by advances in artificial intelligence and robotics. The humanities provide a reliable foundation for a future of rapid change, and the humanities prepare leaders to face the challenges of tomorrow. I do think that in many respects, the flexibility that students have who come into humanities disciplines make them prepared to engage in a quickly changing society. And of course, society is kind of changing at a quicker pace than it has in the past. What does our school look like? Okay, well, here you have some photos of our school, and or at least some on the left photos from our school, and on the right, photos of the Hive, which is right next door, in which most of our classes are in. We have some beautiful spaces for students to study in and work in and socialize in. And I think it's one of the things that students really love about the location here. Okay, just some more photos of our school. And of course, there's lots of different kind of academic and social engagements that you can involve yourself in. And this is just a kind of cluster of the various possibilities that are available to you. Our degree program itself has a number of different ways of mixing and matching education subject possibilities. Okay, the program itself includes Chinese, history, philosophy, English, linguistics and multicultural studies, and art history. Second, okay. Chinese, like all the other subjects, is a 4 years direct honors program, which provides a concrete foundation in both classical and modern Chinese literature, a deeper understanding of Chinese language, and a broader perspective on modern China and the Chinese diaspora in Southeast Asia. I mean, I think one thing that is particularly valuable about the Chinese program in Singapore is that Singapore is often seen as a kind of cultural crossroads between West and East. Of course, it's situated in the East, but because of its colonial history and because of the strong language abilities in English and because of its outreach in business globally, it's very well situated for students to get a great education in Chinese and be then ready to join the workforce with their background in Chinese. The history program aims to be one of the leading centers of historical scholarship on modern and contemporary Asia. Okay, again, taking advantage of its location in Asia and developing a curriculum for students who are both interested in Southeast Asian studies and global studies more generally. So history also taking advantage of the location. Philosophy is a very engaging subject here. It has a very strong background in philosophy of science. And I was talking a bit ago about how certain technological artificial intelligence developments are changing the world very quickly. And a lot of the subjects that philosophy offers are help to prepare students for that changing world. English literature. Okay, I couldn't say too much about that because that's my subject, right? I teach a course in philosophy of science. I'm interested in the future of technological developments. But again, as with many of the other disciplines, we take advantage of our location in Southeast Asia. We offer courses in everything from traditional literature subjects all the way up into the present, and a broad spectrum of contemporary literature courses, including a strong commitment to Southeast Asian literature. Linguistics and multilingual studies is a very good example of a subject, okay, maybe even better than the others, of one that has situated itself in a kind of cultural crossroads, both linguistically and culturally, okay, especially given the diversity of languages that are already available as national languages in Singapore, okay, Chinese, English, Tamil, Malay, national languages, but then it's also situated very well to study other languages, the multitude of languages in Indonesia, the multitude of languages in Indonesia and India. Art history is a kind of developing subject, but of course, like the other disciplines, and all these disciplines work together, there is again a strong commitment to offering you a diverse curriculum that engages both Southeast Asian interests as well as global interests. Now, one of the unique things about our program here at NTU, about the School of Humanities, is that we offer these double major degree programs, okay? And you can see a list here of the various possibilities. You can do a double major in Chinese and English. I'm not going to read them all. You can do a double major in philosophy and Chinese and English and philosophy. And we've worked very hard to make sure that these curriculums are organized in such a way that they benefit the students, right? They fit together, they cohere, they offer you the best of both of these subject areas, and you really are immersed in both of them. We also offer second majors. Okay, let's say that you know with the double majors, you're kind of equally in both programs. With the second major, let's say your real interest is history, but you know that you kind of have a strong interest in Chinese history as well and Chinese language. Then you can have history as your primary major, and then you can have Chinese as a second major that you don't take quite as many courses in. Uh, we also have a new second major in theater and drama studies, okay? And this is quite exciting. We're very glad to offer this, okay? The school has a long history of encouraging active work in drama and theater, and so this seems a natural progression of the things that we've been doing already. Okay, we also have a number of minors. Okay, let's say that you what a minor is that you're even less invested in the minor than you might be in a second major. And one of the advantages of the minor is you could take multiple minors, right? You might have a major in philosophy, but you know that you still have a strong interest in English, and maybe also are very interested in environmental humanities. And this would allow you to to pursue interests in multiple areas. And so one thing that we try to do as much as possible is let a student create a curriculum that suits their particular needs and their particular interests. Uh, One of our very popular minors is creative writing. And the courses are taught by experts both globally and locally. Okay, global experts are good for introducing you to the global market. Local experts are good for introducing you to the local market, and they really do work very hard with you to introduce you to the publishing possibilities that are here, the various venues in which you can make your writing available to the public. What does the degree look like? Okay, it is true that in year one, our courses can be rather large. Okay, these are introductory courses. These are courses that are meant to give you the foundation for the later courses that you will take. Students who are coming to us from the polys are sometimes anxious because maybe they feel like they don't have the background that the students coming to us from the JCs have. And these courses are meant to provide an equal, solid foundation for your later work. But even though these are large courses, we still have breakout groups into tutorials, small tutorials, where you do have an opportunity to engage your peers and your lecturers at a closer level. Years 2 and 3 generally involve smaller seminar discussion-led groups, which we think are essential to your intellectual development. And we try to keep these seminars as small as possible and organize them in a way that allows for as much engagement both with your professor and your peers as possible. Uh, Certainly, we think that debating both with each other and potentially even debating with your professor is key to your intellectual development. And so we try to offer as many venues for this type of debate as possible. Uh, and certainly I couldn't begin to list all the different types of creative projects that our faculty put into their classroom as part of the continuing assessment, which is key to your intellectual development. And then there's year 4. Okay, year 4 is confirmed here. Okay, all of our students do year 4 unlike the other major university down the road from us. I think that this is one of the great things that we offer. Okay, all students have an opportunity to do a final year project. And one thing that this means is that as you're here, you develop a support group, a peer group. And if only part of that peer group goes on to year 4, then you're potentially in the situation that you lose your peer group in year 4, this peer group that you've been relying on for so long. Um, and here's just a list of some of the different final year projects that students have written on, okay? In English, Visions of Women's Power and Autonomy in Kimetsu no Yaiba and Jujutsu Kaisen. How long do I have? Yeah. And the relationship between syntactic awareness and translation ability in Singaporean English Chinese. And so we encourage very creative, very innovative subjects. Sometimes the students take their subjects far beyond uh, our own research interests so that they challenge us to keep up with them given on the wonderful projects that they're pursuing. And this is, to me, has always been one of the exciting things about teaching here. Another opportunity we offer our students is the undergraduate research experience, okay, where students from year 2 are given the opportunity to earn credits for their subject area by working very closely with faculty, okay, on whatever research the faculty are doing. Some years back, I was working on an augmented reality theater project, okay? And I took this augmented, a theater project that we ended up putting on a performance in Singapore and putting on a performance in Canada, in Toronto. And one of my students, okay, an English student, worked very closely with me on this for several years, okay, went with me on the trip to Toronto as part of that project. We co-wrote some authors together, and the student won a number of awards and ended up eventually getting their PhD in technical drama. Okay, and I think it was all a consequence of NTU making these types of possibilities available to our students. And here's just a list of some of the projects that some of our students, Eureka students, have been involved in. Our students have performed very well on what is referred to as the Global Undergraduate Awards, which are held each year in Ireland. Okay, we can see that we have a number of winners from 2022, 2021, 2020, going back. And oftentimes the school supports these students financially to go receive their awards and have conversations about their research in Dublin when they do win these awards. Okay, I mean, NTU is very generous about encouraging this type of research in any way that they can. Okay, another possibility that you have is exchange. Okay, you can study at a leading international university of your choice for one full semester. We have 350 partner universities in over 40 countries, and 70% of NTU students have gained experience overseas, either through the exchange or through the internship, which I'll talk about momentarily. Uh, I mean, 70% is a very high number. And my understanding is that's only limited by the student's desire to go, right? Which is that all students don't desire to go. What this means is that if you want to go, if you're keen to go, we'll help you do it. Okay, there will be a way for you to go if you want to go on exchange. You can also choose to take up an overseas internship, okay? And I'll talk momentarily, okay, about how all incoming students are now required to do an internship. Most of those internships will be done in Singapore, okay, but we're every year we're working hard with industries around the world to find other opportunities for our students so they can also do their internships abroad. Okay, and here's just some photos from some of our students who have gone on exchange, and you'll be hearing from a student on exchange momentarily. They have a great time, and I'm sure that's one of the major things you're looking forward to. And I think you can feel confident that NTU will support you doing that. Okay, so one thing I'm sure that you're all concerned about is your career. Okay, I've talked to numerous incoming students. I've talked to numerous parents of incoming students. I've talked to numerous parents who were worried that maybe their students didn't have as many, their children maybe didn't have the same options that they would have if they say they went into business or they went into engineering. And I I can't emphasize enough how, I don't want to say wrong that is, but just that there are numerous options and our students do extremely well on the job market, and we work very hard to get them jobs. And in terms of percentages of how our students do on the market, they do compare favorably with all the other disciplines at NTU. Uh, the assessment methods used in the School of Humanities develop a range of transferable skills in students, many of which can be put to use in any role across a wide variety of careers and industry. And I think that the main thing that we offer is excellent communication skills and excellent critical thinking skills. I would put our students up against any student in any university in any subject area in Singapore when it comes to their communication skills and their critical thinking skills. The School of Humanities equips students with a wide range of skills and attributes that are in demand from employers in Singapore. We provide in-depth career guides that help students pursue their passions and forge a pathway from the classroom to their career path. And I mean, I keep mentioning communication skills and critical thinking skills, but all of these are very true things that we offer our students. I like especially the idea of learning agility. Okay, our students learn how to learn. I don't think you can emphasize enough how important learning how to learn is, how to do research, how to do academic research, and the way in which academic research is transportable to other subject areas. Uh, there was a time when Google was brand new and there was a kind of, oh, this is going to level the, and Google has kind of leveled the playing field. It does give everybody a kind of gateway into all the information that is available out there in the world. But sometimes one way of looking at that is that in some sense, there's almost too much information, right? If you decide to do a research on wars in the 18th century in Turkey, right? You get too much information, and some of that is information that's perhaps wrong or provided by conspiracy theorists or put up by some random person sitting in the darkness of their basement. And one thing that we offer is the kind of learning agility that allows our students to sift through and find and differentiate the important information from the less important information. And this is a skill that will serve them very much in the workforce. Technical skills. I mean, we do offer technical skills. Increasingly, it's important for students to be able to be savvy at not just communication, but communication technologies, because they have to use those communication technologies every day in the classroom in all sorts of ways. And so they learn to use them in the classroom, and then they carry those skills that they use in the classroom on into business and industry. The School of Humanities provides versatile degrees that support students in finding future careers that align education with their passion and interests. Whether they're interested at some point in going into arts and creative industries, that seems a kind of obvious possibility. Okay, but a number of our students go into healthcare and society. A number go into research and public service, education and training. I think again that's fairly transparent possibility. Okay, but what we do offer here allows students to often to go on to NIE and be at the top of their class, and then go on to teach in JCs because they went here. And here, just one of our students who has gone on to be a video journalist and visual media practitioner. I'll just leave this slide up here for a second. Wang Zhou Hao from the class of 2014. And Reina Yun from the class of 2019, a former intern, Singapore Book Publishers Association. And she can't say enough about how our internship prepared her for future employment. Louis Ace Chan works in management consultant. And so an example of one of those who's gone into finance after getting a degree in the School of Humanities. And it's not uncommon at all. Isa Hasika, working in HR. Aloysius Ang, working in business development. Notably, he says that all of the work that he currently does is similar to working on a research project in the humanities. And we hear that type of thing time and time again from our alumni. So anyway, I encourage you to like, follow, and subscribe.